If you're a residential builder and you're still spending days or even weeks putting together estimates, manually linking takeoffs, quantities, pricing, and labor, then this video is for you. So in this video, I'm going to walk you through a complete estimating engine that I built inside of Wunderbuild, where takeoffs, assemblies, quantities, and pricing all talk to each other automatically. And this isn't theory. This is the exact system I wish I had when I was still building. Hey, real quick, my name's Theo Manifabis. I'm a former builder. I've managed hundreds of projects and now run Consistemize, where I help builders set up Wunderbuild and their business systems. Now, before I jump into the demo, just a quick heads up on how to watch this. So this isn't a high level overview or even a sales highlight reel. I'm going to actually show you the actual system, how it's structured, how everything links together, and how it works in practice inside Wunderbuild. So you don't need to understand every detail. Just the key is to pay attention to how the takeoffs, assemblies, quantities, and pricing all talk to each other automatically, and how that removes rework and guesswork from your estimating. So with that said, let me show you how the system works. Okay, so we're within Wunderbuild now. So let me just show you all the components that make up this complete estimating system, and then we'll get into a live demo. So firstly, we've got the master estimate template. Now, this is structured in a way so that all your cost categories flow from preliminary stage all the way through to handover and external work. So you can see it starts from preliminaries here with these cost categories. As we start off here with design and documentation, insurance, authorities, and so on. Then we move down to our structure cost categories, obviously covering the slab, frame materials, and everything that goes into structure and lockup. Then we move on to services. From services, we move on to fit out, and that leads on to handover and external stage works. So I structured this master estimate template so it just follows a logical progression in how the job would be actually built on site or close enough. And within each cost category, you can see that this is quite detailed in terms of all the cost items I've accounted for within each category. So just this master estimate template on its own will act like as a checklist for you when you're pricing a job, so you don't miss important items for each cost category that may be applicable to the estimate that you're doing. So you would just literally click through each cost category, make sure you're allowing for each relevant item within that cost category. And the way I've structured the estimating template is so that the categories are split between trade package categories. So those are the cost categories where you just allow a price from a subcontractor. And then I've split it up into labor works categories as well. So this is where if you've got your own internal labor, you can allow different cost allowances for each specific part of the works which you're using your own labor. So you can see, for example, here I've got frame labor trade package. So this is where a external subcontractor carpenter would be pricing the job, and you'd be making that allowance for them in this section of the estimate. But then I've got all these separate labor works categories. So this is where you can go in and price each section of the job individually based on your own internal labor rates and allowances. And then you've got a way to track that as well. When the estimate becomes a live project, you've already got your budget allowances within each specific cost category for your labor, and then it makes it easier to track as well at the job stage. So again, I split it up into trade package, labor works, and then I've also got it split into material supply as well. So if again you're supplying your own materials, you want to account for those costs separately, and it just makes it easier having those categorized under their own category. So again, you've got your trade package for subcontractor pricing, material supply for your own when you're supplying your own materials, and labor works cost category for when you're allowing your own internal team members or your internal labor to undertake that part of the job. So that's how the master estimate template works and how that's structured. Then as part of the master estimate template, we've got all of our takeoffs. So this is my complete takeoff library. So again, similar to the master estimate template, everything's been thought through and structured. So you can just start at the top and literally just do a takeoff of all these items, or I should say anything that's relevant to the project you're doing, and everything's been accounted for. So you can just click through each heading here. It'll open up the relevant takeoff items that you might need to do a takeoff for. And then within that, once you click a takeoff item, you'll be able to see where it's linked to the costing, which I'll show you how that works as well. So, so that as you're doing a takeoff, that specific takeoff will link to these relevant cost items which are linked to that takeoff. And this is how we can quickly start to build out a complete estimate without having to think about where do you link that takeoff to. It's already been thought through for you, so everything just links to the correct area. So again, if I click on bricks here and I click on face bricks, you do a square meter takeoff for face bricks on the ground floor, and this will link to your brick supply, your mortar materials, your brick labor, brick cleaning. So again, you don't have to think where to link it to, and B, those quantities will automatically go to those cost areas. And as part of that as well, certain things are linked to assemblies within the costing, which I'll show you next. So for example, here we do a takeoff for the bricks. It's going to go to brick mortar materials, which those mortar materials are an assembly which you'll also have access to. So these are all the assemblies that are provided, and yeah, there's hundreds in here which all have their own recipe, logic, and formula, and all of them link to the costing. So using that brick example, if I go to mortar materials here for brickwork, and I'll just click within there so we can have a look at that, you'll see that this is based on square meters, and this is the recipe that I have for those mortar materials. So for every square meter of brick area, we need 0.03 cubic meters of brick sand, 0.36 bags of this white cement, and 0.13 bags of lime. So everything's been thought through. The logic is here as well within my notes. So if you wanted to see, well, how did Theo come up with those quantities and formulas, it's all explained here under the notes. And the next cool thing, which I'll show you as well, is that everything is linked to a master price book item. So all the assemblies are linked to the master price book, and that's the next thing I'll show you. So you're going to get this complete master price book or catalog, which has all these items. So this is literally like a complete building materials and trade supply package catalog, so that everything that potentially that you're going to need to cost on a job has an associated cost item, has a SKU code, and the SKU code is how it's linked to the master estimate, so that again you're doing a takeoff. Those takeoffs are linking to the costing, and then once they're linked to the costing, they're going to also be linked to a particular cost item from this price book catalog, which you're also getting. And the idea behind that, especially with Wunderbuild's new master price book feature, is that you're going to be able to link your own supplier price lists to this master price book, which is linked to the master estimate template. And yeah, I'll do the demo now, and you're going to see how quickly and easily not only can you do a takeoff, that takeoff links to the costing, potentially links to an assembly as well, which you've got all my assemblies, and then also how it links to this master price book here, so that your estimate is auto-populating, not only with quantities, but with the actual costing itself. Okay, so I've brought the master estimate template now into this new estimate that I've created. So we're within an estimate now within Wunderbuild. So we've got all the same cost categories, and it's exactly as per the template that you saw. Obviously, when you're bringing the estimate or template into one of your own jobs, you may not need many of these categories, but this is the complete one nonetheless, so you can see how it works. So same deal, we've got all our cost categories here, and we've also got our takeoff items here, which again are all going to link back to this costing. So let's do an example. We'll do bricks, which is a common item. So let's just measure some ground floor face bricks. So I go to this takeoff item here, it's selected, and let's just go to an easy part of the plan here. I'll just do this garage wall here. Okay, so we do a takeoff of the section of the plan that we want to get a measurement and quantity for. So you can see I've got 17.38 square meters of brickwork on this garage wall. That's reflected here in the takeoff. And now what you're also going to see, which for me is the biggest thing, is now how all of this takeoff now links to each of these areas of the costing. So this 17.38 square meters is going to link to brick supply for the face bricks. It's going to link to the mortar materials. It's going to link to these brick labor cost items and assemblies in the costing, and also brick cleaning. So let's go to the costing now, and I'll go to let's go to brick and block supply first. Just refresh here. Okay, so let's go to brick and block supply, and bang, there it is. So you can see, so we've got 17.38 square meters of brickwork that I've measured. Where you've got this right arrow here, it means there's an assembly linked to this cost item within this cost category. So if I open this up now, there's 50 bricks per square meter, so it's calculated 69 bricks based on this square meter wall measurement. So again, like for this to just be given to you auto linked, so you're not having to link this all up to the costing yourself, and it's obviously saved as a template. This is going to save you a huge amount of time. So, and again, it doesn't only link to one item here, it's linking now to your mortar materials. So let's go to brick hardware materials, and there it is there, that 17.38 square meters is now auto calculating all your sand, cement and lime quantities for the job based on this square meter area takeoff. And then again, you're not having to think of, well, how many cubic meters of sand or bags of cement or lime do I need, because that's auto calculating as well based on the assembly from this full assemblies library that you get. And not only do you get the assembly library for mortar in this example, or for that particular item, it's also linked to our costing here when we do an estimate. So everything just auto calculates. As soon as you do that takeoff, the quantities go to the estimate, and then if there's an assembly linked to that cost item, it's going to auto calculate. So let's look at brick labor now. We're going to get our quantities for labor cost, either based on cost to lay per brick or cost per hour, based on some formulas that I've worked out there. So again, I'm going to go to costing. I'm going to go to brick labor now, and you're going to see this is how it's worked out: cost to lay per brick, or if you want to work out cost to lay, you're paying a day rate. I've got formulas there already built out for that based on a presumed number of bricks productivity that's laid per day for this many bricklayers. So everything's worked out, and it gives you that flexibility to pick and choose potentially, well, how do you want to apply that quantity or take off, and which part of the costing do you want to add it to? So in this instance, I've got a few different ways of how we calculate brick labor. You can pick and choose which way you want to apply that to the estimate, and then brick cleaning as well. Again, so if I go to brick cleaning now, again, it's taken that square meters that I've measured, and it's applying that against a brick cleaning rate, cost per brick, and I'll show you that next. But again, this is where it becomes quite powerful, because all your quantities or your takeoff is applying to so many different parts of the job, and or parts of the costing, I should say. So let's pick another one that is pretty common. So it's obviously timber frame walls. If I was to click on this one here, external timber frame walls, ground floor, 450 stud centers at 2.7 meters high. So you can see there's lots of takeoff items here, but you're only going to pick the one that's relevant to your job. So assuming this this estimate has 2.7 meter high external walls, that's the one I'm going to pick. I'll go to the plan here. Let's just do a quick rough measurement just for this example. Okay, so we do our takeoff. What do we have now? So that's all calculated. We've got 69.5 linear meters of external frame timber walls, and now all these items are going to auto calculate into the costing. So frame materials, prefab walls, if we're working off a linear meter rate, what we're paying, frame labor, wall wrap, there's some safety rails and platforms for external walls if we need that, insulation, plasterboard. So all of this automatically gets added into our costing. So again, we're not having to link it all up ourselves, and B, it's going to auto calculate the quantities if we've got a assembly linked to that takeoff item. So again, if I go down now, let me just refresh this. Okay, so let's go to that frame materials one. There it is there. So in this instance, for our external frame walls, at 450 stud centers, 2.7 meter high walls, we've got the 69.5 linear meters of external wall area, and then this is linked to an assembly, and this is auto calculating my studs and top and bottom plate that I need in this example. So we need 45 pieces of 9045 MGB10 at 6 meters, 154 pieces of 9045 at 2.7. And again, if you want to see how these quantities are calculated, you're just going to go to the assembly, and we're going to go down to find frame materials. This one here, external timber frame walls, 2.7 meters high, 450 stud centers. We can click within there, and we can see the logic of how, based on the linear meters of external walls, how I've calculated the quantities of each length of 9045 and each 2.7 meter stud length that we need based on those total linear meters. So pretty powerful, and I'm loving how it all links together. If I was still building, I wish I had this when I was still building, because it would save so much time in calculating quantities and then the next step being how it auto calculates the cost as well in the estimate, which I'll show you now. So like I showed you before, you get my master price book into your account, and what you can do with this, the idea behind this and the idea with Wunderbuild releasing the master price book feature is that you can have a price catalog that's always linked to your estimate template, and then you can plug in your own supplier rates against those master price list items, and then pick and choose what rates you want to apply to each particular estimate. So let's just do an example. So if I go to, let's go to brickwork again, since we've done the takeoff for bricks. So I've got this one item, face bricks, as a master price book item. So what I'll also provide you with, just as an example, is this price item catalog. So just think of this as your own supplier price list that you may have in your account, and let's just assume you've got a price list from a brick supplier. What you would do then is you would link your brick pricing items to that master price book face brick item. So let's assume this this price category here is a price list from your brick supply company. What you can then do is link those individual items to that master price book item. So I'm going to click here. I'm going to go edit. Sorry, I'm going to go to the master price book, not the individual separate supplier price items. So I'm going to click on face bricks here. You can just go edit, and you've got this option here, link price item. So I'm going to go to this price item catalog, and I'm going to link all my face brick items to this master price book item, like that. And we'll just click close and hit update. So now you can see we've got 3 prices, as it's showing here, linked to face bricks. And now when I go to my costing and I go to, I'll just refresh first. And we go to now that brick, or one of those brick takeoff items. So let's go to, was this one here, brick and block supply. And I go to face brick, just refresh that again. Sorry, one important step, let's fix that up. In order to get a price to come across, we need to add rates to our price list items. So let's quickly do that. So let's just say, let's just put 80 cents for the good range bricks, $1 for the better range, and $1.50 for the best range. I mean, obviously you're gonna have your own brick categories and rates. This is just an example. So I'll save that. So now I've got some rates, actual rates in my price catalog for bricks. And now when I go to those brick supply items, and I'll just refresh there. What you'll see is that it's auto calculated now the cost. So just refresh, let's just select like that. So now I'm going to say, okay, well, this is, yes, we're going to say we want to select that there. And you can see it's auto calculated the price now, because we've linked our supplier price list item, in this instance, this face bricks good, which I've just used in this example, to our master price book item. So now, obviously our quantities are automatically calculating for this assembly, but now we're starting to populate our estimate with the total price and an actual cost from those quantities, which have come from the takeoff, linked to the assembly, and now also linked to our master price book item. So this is where it gets really powerful. where as you work through each takeoff and you're getting the quantities for the job, which are automatically populating to the costing and automatically calculating the quantities. At the same time, your pricing can also be auto-calculating and adding into the estimate based on your rates being built up within your account from your own supplier price list, or you could just use my one as a starting point where you can go plug in your own rates here for certain items, and then your estimate is going to auto populate with a cost as well as the quantities, and obviously everything works hand in hand to deliver you a full estimate. But yeah, just the time saving in having all this together in terms of everything talking to each other. So you do a takeoff, it talks to the estimate from those quantities. They can also link up to an assembly, which you've got all of my assemblies as well. And then having this price book that you can auto populate with your own rates to then quickly generate a cost based on your takeoffs, for me is a game changer. And literally the time it's going to save you, not only in not having to build this out, but the speed in which you're going to be able to undertake estimates. I think that probably accounts to 20, 30, 40 hours a month, obviously depending on how many estimates you do, but I can tell you it was even a lot more than that just to put together this template. So yeah, just having this template in itself is going to be a huge time saver and literally a game changer to how quickly you can produce your estimates. So just to recap, this estimating engine includes the master estimating template, the complete takeoff library, the full assembly system, and a master price book, all pre-linked and structured to work together inside Wunderbuild. And while each of these templates is super valuable on its own, where this really becomes a game changer for your estimating is that everything is already connected, tested, and working together as one single system, which really took me months to build and years of trial and error as a builder to refine, and now it's available for you. So if you want this exact system installed into your own Wunderbuild account, check out the description where you'll find a link in the checkout page with all the details. And then once you purchase, you'll get an email with simple instructions to add us as a team member in your Wunderbuild account. And then as soon as we have access, we'll install the entire system for you, everything linked and ready to use. I hope this demo alone has been helpful in giving you a clearer picture of what a properly set up estimating system can look like inside a Wunderbuild. And I look forward to catching you somewhere within our awesome Wunderbuild community. Bye for now.